It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, joined by my four players, Josh, Mark, and Bub.
Hello.
Hello again.
Hello.
A whole 5 minutes for us.
Yeah, just
A whole
yeah.
5 minutes. I'm excited for this episode. Honestly, I'm excited. From last episode on is kind of like the point I was like really eager to get to, because just like at this point on, it's the last back half of the season, man. We're barreling toward the end of this story of what's been built up for a while. I'm so excited to see what you guys end up doing and how the story ends up going. I'm also excited for all of you supporting us at patreon.com/podbynight. Thank you guys so much. Without your support, there wouldn't be a season 3. You wouldn't be getting one-shots. You wouldn't have twitch.tv/podbynight. Go check that out. That'll be used a lot more in the future. And you wouldn't have, well, we'd probably still have merch, but that's Dot's thing, right? Where can we get merch, Dot?
Find a link tree. It's on a social media platform. Boom. Do it. Click. And then there's lots more places to click. One of which says merch.
As we learned last episode, Duke is the most popular, so let's like show some love for everybody.
Who knows? By the time this comes out, that may have changed based on
I believe in you.
all of your
That's
want
true.
to bring
I
Sean
believe in
back.
the internet.
You gotta just
Keep the mustache at the helm.
If we sell $2,000 worth of Sean merch, Sean can come back to life.
You heard it here
There's
first,
your
everybody.
promise. Pay to win, baby. Bringing it into tabletop RPGs, microtransactions. We can do this.
Yo, I have a crate
how it
of
works.
mugs on the way.
Yeah. I spent my entire month's earnings on
Homie's about to have all of these Sean Mug giveaways on streams and YouTube videos.
And Die Hard Dice would be like, I don't know what's going on, but you guys are incredible. Like, we just need you to like, more, please. What else do you guys want?
Well, we got to kill more characters first, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta. I'll just start knocking them out one at a time.
And then we'll oh no, Savva
That's what
merch
it'll be.
next.
I know I said last week the least popular character would get killed, but maybe it'll be the most popular character that gets knocked out the list. Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
So Duke, line her up, boy. You're done.
I've been waiting on this
Second
day.
prize.
Gotta get
Second prize is a set of steak knives.
perfect. yeah, exactly. Third prize, you get a $20 gift card to Applebee's. Congratulations. All right. We got to play this game. Otherwise, we'll run out of time here.
True.
So if you're all ready, we can rein things in, set the scene, and see what our coterie is up to. What we actually open up with is the sounds of Max and Savva's voice as the trap door opens to their hidden away basement. And Duke, as well, where we find ourselves in the room with Duke as he's sitting and relaxing, I guess is what you could technically call it, can hear Savva and Max not bickering, perhaps bantering back and forth after having just arrived back home after a rather eventful night investigating Larson's house.
Oh, Jesus, that fucking stings. I gotta tell you. Ugh.
Yeah, it's my collar keeps on getting at it where it's all red. It's the worst.
Okay.
Can I get a rouse check from both of you as your bodies naturally and instinctively attempt to heal the first point of aggravated damage without your consent, more or less, as aggravated damage? Your body tries to heal automatically. So you get a little hungrier, Max, as Savva, both of you can feel the burns slowly kind of healing away and flaking away, but it's still remnants of damage. Very visible on your skin, charred marks.
I never thought I'd see you with a sunburn.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get myself a little bit of blood from the fridge, take care of that. Wish I could
What
offer
the
you
hell
you
did
see-
she do? She drank a thing, but then she exploded.
I don't know if I think the drinking thing was more associated with the floaty whatnot she was doing. I don't know.
Thought she was just jumping really slowly.
Yeah, okay, so for future reference, kill them right away before they know you're even there.
Yes. Easy.
And as they walk by the door where Duke is, Max continues his stride to go grab his drink, but Savva, as you look to your right, maybe looking to head into that room, there sits Duke, quietly.
Recon was not successful, Duke.
You've discovered something, though. You didn't come back in the same manner that you left in.
Someone
As
else.
you can very clearly see, Duke, little pock marks of burns across what visible skin he
You seem a
has.
little old to be going through puberty, Savva.
This is not pimples. This is the power of a sun bursting out of some young woman who floated in midair.
Story checks out then.
Max sort
What
of
the hell does that mean?
Max strides back into the room, sort of slurping on a blood bag.
Hey, Duke, what's the rumpus?
You look a little worse for wear as well, Max.
Yeah, well, that's 'cause I am. We got some bad news.
You met a thin
Larson's
blood,
place.
and she exploded. Sunlight emitted from her body.
Yeah, that's about the whole of it, really. Geez, you've been reading the Cole's notes? What's going on?
You remember that meeting that I had with Mia? She told me this would happen.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that you would encounter them this evening, though.
Yeah, 3 of them. They were torching Larson's place.
Why would they do that?
At this point, Vera, you probably returned from your walk. You can hear the voices of Duke and Max and Savva discussing something down the hallway.
What purpose would they have from gaining the torch? To lose Larson's home unless there was something there.
You lose any leverage people have over you.
It might have just been a fuck you to Larson, but
I have my doubts. His family moved out some time ago. Larson's been at this ranch, so to speak. They're trying to cover something up.
well,
Now, question, would we have had a chance to examine the house in the aftermath of its burning? Probably not. It was probably still burning when we left.
No, it would still be burning for a while, and the firemen would show up, and it would just be a whole friggin' thing. If you had Duke, a lot easier. He could just walk up to somebody and command them to do as they will, but nah, it would have taken hours and probably until sunlight.
I mean, the place, it was going up like a tinderbox when we left. I wasn't going near it. Maybe we can scout it out tomorrow night. Who knows?
At the end of the sentence, the clacking of Vera's heels as she turns into the room.
Did you both go to the beach?
Yeah, well, the beach came to us.
Oh no.
There's certainly a lot of dust around.
I knew it. There were thin bloods at the house.
Yeah, 3 of them. I was just telling Duke. They were torching Larson's place. We took care of 2 of them right away. The 3rd one we were going to keep for questioning, but she had other ideas.
Interesting. So they are trying to cover something up.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine there was too much, well, fire for you to be able to check the house. We could go back after the embers burn out.
Yeah, I figured the authorities are probably going to be busy with it for a while. It's going to be pretty obvious it was arson.
Yes, that's the thing, though. They want everybody to believe the obvious. I imagine it was, in fact, arson, but the reason is why. Why?
Well, we'll have to return to this location tomorrow night. We need to see to it immediately.
Yes.
If it's not a finished job, they will be back.
Do you have any friends you could put on the scene or whatever?
I can put in a call and see to my contact. Though I have a feeling if it is situation obvious, that there will not be many there.
That could be a plus for us. They'll probably miss something we may find.
If it's an obvious arson, I can appear to be an inspector working with the fire department. Just wait for everyone to leave, and if there's any questioning, I should be able to talk my way around the situation.
Seems potentially promising. Have you filled them in on your research, Duke.
I am not. Not that it would matter much to Savva. He was not here at that time.
No, but he was here at another time.
Very well.
Duke may have churned up some old history. It gives us a little bit more of a view as to what this cult is all about.
Our history?
I'll be able to give you some details, but I have a feeling that Vera should be able to fill in some things herself. Max, about a decade ago, we went to an ice skating rink. Do you remember when John was particularly, as Sean would say, blitzed out of his mind?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
Yeah, good times. That was a good Christmas.
that's what we're remembering. That is what we remember.
We laugh about it now.
So, yeah, what about it? You want to do that again?
I don't, actually, ever again. It was a horrible time. I was stuck babysitting John for at least 2 hours, and I was very unhappy with this.
You spent 30 seconds on the ice, remember?
Yes, walking. Very mechanically so, across the ice. Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Okay, so why do you bring it up?
Do you remember the preacher? The one with the song and dance tunes that was preaching to us about Gabriel, and he had the red cord around his neck, carried the Bible. We fought later. You fought later with the Thin Bloods in the alley.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really much of a fight. I mean, let's be honest. But, yeah, that's right. I thought at first they was hunters or something, but then they dusted once I took their heads off, so that saved cleanup. I'll give them that. That's right, they were Thin Bloods.
And the problem is that wasn't just a impromptu Thin Blood incursion. I have reason to believe, strong reason, Max, to believe that the preacher was Father.
Huh. You kidding me? We met him before?
He met us before. He's since gone through multiple disguises. That's what Zamitzi are capable of. If not immediately changing his body, then at the very least, changing bodies. Like Sean.
There's a very high probability, based on Duke's rather impressive research, that the aforementioned father is in fact an old packmate of mine and Savva's.
So I was hoping that you might be able to assist us in building this profile further. And Vera, if you can as well, would you, if you can recall this individual, did they have some bizarre association or fantasy with religion?
I think Vera turns to look at Savva like, where do we begin? How do we start this conversation?
Yeah. Suddenly Savva breaks out in a big smile. He's like, I think we know exactly who he's talking about.
I do know exactly who Dukas is talking about. A profile, you say? How much do you know about Sabbat practices, Duke?
I know they're typically deplorable and by any means necessary, oftentimes pathetic attempts, which will reveal and breach the Camarilla and the Masquerade entirely, but it seems successful by their own right. If it was that successful, you would have stuck with them. Vera, you do not go down with a sinking
judgy
ship.
Tone. Very judgy words.
I am a Ventru, Savva, and you're still burning.
Yeah.
Pat the ash off your shoulder.
I'm sorry I can't offer you any of this, pal.
No, you're not.
A pack had a particular interest. To become part of the Sabbat, you have to prove yourself in certain ways. Bond yourself to those that you work with for a very specific purpose. Does that make sense?
Were you blood bonded
Yes.
to each other then.
To some degree.
Oh,
Yes.
it's deeper than just some sort of drinking. It's a ritual.
Duke tears a piece of paper out immediately from his book and puts a pen on the table. I need you to diagram this bonding. I need to see how far it goes back.
Do either one of you jump at the opportunity to do so?
Yeah, Savva takes the pen and the paper and just draws a big circle over and over and over again and puts all of the different like little stick figures with fangs in there. That's the bond. That's how it works.
But to whom did you answer to?
Well, the Bruja was the priest, but he didn't do much preaching. He certainly led us efficiently, which is all you need to do. No one could best him, so no one else became the priest.
So let me get this straight. Father used to be in this little circle jerk here that you got diagrammed out with you guys. Yes?
In so many words?
And did you know he was a thin blood? I mean, is he a thin blood?
He's not.
Okay.
Oh, he's a Zamitsi. He's of the
Right,
Dragon
and
clan.
You knew him as a Zamitsi when he was with the Sabbat, or when you were all in your pack together.
We called him something other than father. His name was Antoine.
Antoine.
No, it wasn't. We had fun little nicknames.
What was his?
We called him Soapbox.
Soapbox.
Oh, how incredibly fitting.
It sounds like one of the little rascals.
Yes, they were quaint names, but nonetheless rather apropos, modus operandi, if you would.
Okay, well, let's call him Soapbox from now on.
I imagine that he will very much not appreciate that, but it seems that he survived the Battle of New York, which is the very unfortunate part of all of this, because he was supposed to be dead. Long gone. Not a problem anymore.
Yeah, my general curiosity is, what did you call each other?
Oh, yeah, this ought to be good.
Well, I don't know if she still does it, but there was a very messy way she ended a lot of people. We called her Splatter.
Don't go by that name anymore.
Splatter. and what about Savva? What was he called?
Well, Savva, you seem to know everybody else's name. Go ahead.
Kitten.
Kitten. Seriously.
Have you ever seen a black cat in a dark alley?
No, I mean, that's the whole idea. You don't see a black cat in the dark alley.
Nothing but
Why didn't
the
they call you
eyes.
Black Cat?
Well, because
Because
that's
they
copyrighted
like to
by Marvel
humiliate-
Comics. That's why. You can't call somebody Black Cat. You're going to get sued.
Yes, because Kindred cares so much about that. Kitten and Splatter. Interesting. Fitting. Soapbox, however, that is borderline ironic.
Well, we all have our ways, and we were particularly interested in gaining a following, power, the usual cultish vibes. It seems that he's come back again to maybe finish what he could not even start to begin with.
Now, I'm curious, Max, did they ever call you anything in a previous life? We've all had separate monikers now, and I've only known you as Max.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. Max ain't my name. Not the name I was born with, anyway. Okay, I thought it was really clever. You know, the guy who played Nosferatu, Max Schreck.
Right.
I even went by Max Schreck for quite a while. But then a certain movie came out, and I can't have the last name Schreck. So it just went to Max.
Oh, but it would be so good if you did.
Yeah. My Scottish accent ain't really up to snuff. Anywho.
I don't understand any of this.
Let's deal with the more immediate problem of the exploding thin bloods, huh?
Hold on, I want to know... Duke. That's not your real name,
No,
right?
no, my birth name is Edmund.
Edmund. Nice.
Doesn't quite have as much resolve tucked behind it as Duke. Plus, I don't think that I would enjoy Vera walking into a room and going, Edmund.
Why? It's a very proper name, Duke.
It just rolls differently off the tongue, I believe. Preference, you understand. Plus, I left that life a long while ago. But while I was alive, Savva, they called me the co-ed killer.
Oh, shit.
It was coined by popular media at the time.
You still got the facial hair and everything. Oh my god, how did I not see? Big fan. Nice to meet you.
You just see like his eyebrows go up for a moment and then look back. Thanks. So, the light. This cult. I have an idea, and it's playing a very big hand, but I think it's worth assessing and considering. I want to see to the leader of the Chantry, Aisling. I've worked with her in the past. She helped assemble the Tremere spells on the Grafdigger's cage, protecting our asset.
Seems like a potentially trustworthy ally, a powerful one.
I'm going to take some of the belongings to both Gustav's and of Sean's and see if I can drum up some more Tremere magic to locate positions.
Yes, we've left Gustav alone for far too long. I have a feeling that maybe with enough pressure we can get something good out of him this time.
I have to ask Max. I know that you wish to put him in his rightful grave, but if the pressure is on, would you see him as an unwitting ally for a short time? Because we're going to need more hands on deck than we currently have.
Whoa, what are we talking about here?
If we
Throw it in with Gustav.
If we make a move on the ranch, I'm calling it the ranch because I don't know what else to call it at this point. It's very cult-like and it makes sense to my mind. We're going to need more eyes and hands and willing guns to move in on this. I have no idea how many thin bloods he has, but if one did that to you, what is an entire ranch of thin bloods going to do?
Well, sure, I agree there, but I mean, expecting help from Gustav, I don't know how far that's gonna get us. As far as I know, he's in on it with them.
Could be.
Beyond that, you can't trust that slimy fuck no matter what.
True.
He's a snake.
But I'm guessing from what you've discussed and some of the things that I've heard you say about me even, that we're very similar. His pride will oftentimes get in the way. He will default to his own prejudice, and if we afflict his personal ego with a chance that his allies rolled on him, he might be keen to flip his card and play a different angle.
Look, if we're talking about fucking Gustav over, then I'm all for it.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Alright, fair enough. Yeah, I can play nice with him. I don't know how nice he's gonna want to play with me, considering I blew his fucking crotch to smithereens the last time we encountered each other.
I'd say it's tit for tat. Last I recalled, he burned your home and all of yours.
Yeah, but that was because I set him on fire and threw him out a window.
You have a very
back in,
history-filled
49.
romantic relationship, I've gathered. It keeps going back and forth, and I don't see it ending. However, I would like to put him at the forefront of the cavalcade that's descending upon the ranch so that he may blow up in a beautifully lit fashion.
This is a good idea. He is also the only other kindred we know who potentially could tell us where the ranch is, since it doesn't seem Mia wants to spill the proverbial beans.
Look, if you think we can get our mitts on Gustav, I can make him talk. If that's what you're wondering. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about what I do to him, and believe you me, he's gonna be real cooperative by the end of that. So, alright, let's see how this goes.
We really could use a quickie wake potion for our dear present in the basement, if you know what I mean. Do you think the Tremere could help us?
I'm going to need to explain in full transparency to Aisling the veracity of the situation, meaning I will have to expose the prince's existence.
Yes.
You think that's a good
Technically,
move?
she is
I
safe.
think at this point, the wool needs to be removed so that everyone's eyes can be visibly aware. And the only other kindred that I would be comfortable telling is my sire, which he's expecting a meeting with me in 5 days' time.
Let's see what Aisling thinks first. Somebody who may see something we don't, and is at least, influential in certain ways.
Well, if you think we can trust them,
We can trust.
Fair
We can
enough.
trust no one.
yeah, well, especially not Gustav, alright? He's gonna try to spin it so that, yeah, this is some kind of mutually beneficial arrangement. Don't believe it. He always comes out on top. Whatever agreement we make with him, we double-cross him and stab him in the back the first chance we get.
The Chantry has always had a storied relationship with the bedfellow that is the Camarilla. They operate alongside, largely because the Camarilla realizes that they are a poignant threat. Plus, no one else can quite do magic quite like the Tremere can. If this appears to be viable for a positive move for the Chantry, Aisling will be on board. And she knows that I do not lie, that I only bring the truth, and I only bring what's valuable to her table.
Okay, then.
Look, we have nothing left to lose, right?
We actually have everything to gain. It's modernly said is a bit ballsy, but I think it's time to present the testicles.
What a horrible saying. Why?
But
Would you want to present them? Well, if that's the saying goes, then start presenting, gentlemen. I'm ready to go all in. Cards on the table.
Flash that scrotum.
Duke
Sure.
smiles like a big toothy grin.
Savva, may I have a word?
Next, I'm gonna need your
course.
help as well. We'll leave them to theirs. Let's go up to Sean's room. We need to do some digging.
Alright, fair enough.
And Vera and Savva stay in this room?
Sure.
Or do you walk outside? I'm just curious of what the scenery will be for this conversation.
Well, if Duke and Max are leaving,
you can stay here.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay. They stride out of the room, but our vision stays here with Savva and Vera.
Oh, hi. It's me, Vera. While you're taking a break, take a moment to visit dieharddice.com. Die Hard Dice is a sponsor of this little podcast. They make what we do possible. During checkout, make sure to use the code DRACPAK, DRACPAK, and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase. And we get a little cut for our own resources. Sounds like we only roll with the best.
This is a problem on a much larger scale than I think I realized.
Yes.
Did you
and
all
if-
survive?
Well, we all survived your initial betrayal. Beyond that, I got out as fast as I could, so I can't say for certain. But if I'm alive, if Antoine is alive, we're probably all still around somewhere.
I have a thought. He doesn't know we know the truth, anyways.
He
thinks
doesn't know
he's-
the We
He-
know.
That he's the father, that he's this cult leader of the Thin Bloods.
Okay, and how can we use that?
Which means the last thing he'd expect is for me to come knocking on his door. Why sit around and wait for him to send his kamikazes into the city? This is personal.
Get him to set them off at home.
If he has no bombs, then he can't send them in. More importantly, this is... runs a little deeper than his want to be worshipped. His desperate need to bring down a system that is no different than the system he's built.
So do you want me to go with you?
Well, I don't know where to go. Hopefully
I could see if I can do a little digging.
we need to find the ranch. The hope would be that Gustav would at least be able to tell us. If we can find it, I say I simply show up.
Well,
He would not expect it.
he might even enjoy it. You know how he loves to talk.
Yes, well, I know a lot of things he loves. Something to simmer on, I guess. At least now that we know who it is, we can think about maybe a weakness or two.
Seems like this is getting pretty close to the bone for you. You're going to be okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're fine because
Because
An
Vera
old-
Volkov is always fine.
that sounds like repression, but okay.
Oh, the great Savva here to psychoanalyze me.
I went through quite a lot going cold turkey, putting myself back together, so I know how much it hurts.
Please. You chose your side. You are lost. I chose the winning side and I still lost.
I think I gained quite a lot. But
Maybe.
there you go, I don't have a dead prince.
She's not dead.
Okay, but that's what everyone thinks.
Good. It needs to stay that way at least for a while. If our
Yes.
return and the prince's return are in sync, then maybe, just maybe, we get out alive and you get what you want.
Good. A favor from a prince would do me a lot.
I need you to dig deep, Savva. We need some connections, some information. You said you've made it this long, you pulled yourself out of whatever burning gutter was left over after the battle, so start pulling some strings.
Yes. I will do
Please.
that right away.
If I can help, you should let me know.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that before.
Well, it's really funny, is that you don't actually know me.
I guess not.
And on that tense silence, do the two of you go your separate ways?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go? Out of curiosity, before we go to Duke and Max, are you leaving like the basement to go to your safe house for the rest of the evening?
Savva would, yeah.
Okay.
Make
Vera
his
as
way
well?
over into areas that he knows are Sabbat.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
Yeah,
early
safe
morning,
enough.
there would be no reason to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's not. You still got a few hours left before it gets dangerous. Really, if Vera's gonna go her way, would she go for a walk or?
Yes, actually, she heads down to the park, the one where we went ice skating.
Oh, okay, excellent. We'll go there in a moment then. For now, our vision changes to a burnt down remnants of. Oh no, not this is the basement. The basement room of where Sean once resided. And as our vision comes to view within the room itself, the door swings open and we see Duke step in, followed by Max.
So, Max, we are attempting to find an addict's stash. We'll have a very visible stash, something that can be found with trace material for recreational use immediately. Then there will be a secondary stash that he's attempting to hide and will oftentimes disguise some of the things that he may be embarrassed about or he treasures. This will be the most important for Sean.
You know, I'm thinking, knowing Sean like I did, he was probably a little bit of a drug chipmunk, as it were. He's probably got like a lot of little hidden secret stashes too, right?
Likely.
And plus, he was pretty disorganized, so he probably forgot where he put the original one and then had to make a new one, and so, yeah, we might be sport for choice here.
You're both welcome to make me a wits and streetwise roll for your initial, like, where would I think he'd hide it?
Okay. Could I utilize, in this case, wits investigation?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Investigation is an absolutely okay substitute because imagine like a logical cop mind being like would know.
Then can I
where to
use
look as
my specialty in criminology?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Question, can I use my specialty, which is black market stuff? So I assume that would also extend to hiding places and things like that?
Yeah, I'd be totally okay with that. I think that fits as well. You all have a mind in the criminal world for varying different reasons. With the 5 successes, Duke will be the one who comes across it, but I'm gonna pivot over to Josh. Josh, where would Sean hide his most precious, say, like, personal emergency stash in a room like this?
So yeah, I think they're right. They find like tiny little stashes of like cling film rolled up with stuff in all over the place. But
yeah, a small rock here, a joint over there. You know,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Your Keef supply buried somewhere else.
But the oh god, yeah, they also find a very long past its use by date hand.
Yeah, that's right. The hand that
yep.
you took from episode 1.
Yeah.
Kept it preserved, somehow didn't dust. We don't know why, but there it is. It's just there because it's a trophy.
Oh god. Also
I remember this.
Yeah, Max slops open a plastic bag that's got like a half decayed hand and juices that have filled the bottom corner of the plastic.
Oh yeah, it's clearly been used, like little bits of it are missing and there's like almost no blood in there.
Duke just blinks and returns back.
Could we say it was something like it was a Max Jr. cat toy that you had snagged,
Oh
cut
my
open,
God,
and
yeah.
stuffed with drugs?
Yeah,
And then you left
it's
in your
just
room, you're like, it's for the cat.
It's on a string. It's hanging from like next to the TV, and it's big and fluffy, and it's probably a bit bigger than it should be, and the stitching's all busted.
You
And it's
realize if
something
you
that-
look close enough, it's not catnip.
Exactly. And Duke walks by it, catches it to the corner of his eye, doubles back and kind of lifts the toy in the palm of his hand, gently rotates it, and you can see the crude sewing by just moving some of the feathers out of the way. And with a simple, you hear all the stitching pop. And on the inside, what would be Sean's favorite drug? Like the one he goes to that he enjoys the most.
It's a very slightly off green looking bud.
Oh, there you go. And you find a giant nug.
Opening this thing up
tucked
and
in
looking
there.
inside and start identifying like various things here. Like there's hash and is that Sean ivermectin. Really?
Okay, so remind me why we need this again. We're gonna get John high again. Is that it?
No. I'm going to use this. I don't know why this is wrapped the way that it is, but he took a lot of extra care here. You can tell by the way that it's wrapped and carefully taped to dispose or at least conceal of this particular strand of something. I'm not quite sure what it is.
It's retained. It's sticky, icky. You know, it's not dry. It hasn't dried out. He did a
Appears
good
to be
job
rather
sealing
moist.
it.
And so I believe that Sean has taken utmost care here, and this is likely what I will use to present to Aisling. I really wish that there had been some sort
Gotcha.
of better fetter here, something that tied him in a way that wasn't so materially consumed.
I don't know how far they look, but there's probably somewhere in the room is the book.
Your book?
the book that mosquito creature, when he back from then, that he's full of scribbled
formulas. With a 5, Duke definitely finds that. Where would you have shoved that? Because that's an exceptional success. So
that was stuffed inside the back of an old CRT TV. He like took the plastic backing off, stuffed it in there, and you can tell like the screws are all scuffed up. So he's been hiding shit in there on and off, and like
the toy is hanging off of that TV.
Yeah.
And as he's like done pulling the nug out, and Duke stands up straight again, towering over, you can very clearly see a half an inch gap all along the back of the tube TV where the back end would pop off. And not only just a couple loose screws, but one is missing. And in fact, as you were looking through the room, you had discovered where that screw had rolled to. It was under the bed.
Bingo.
You crack it open. We watch as he meticulously unscrews the last few loose screws, and the loud clucking of the plastic as he pulls the back off. And as you do so, very haphazardly duct taped to the back of it, you see a old, worn, black leather journal.
Huh, what you got there?
I don't know yet. I'm going to take a cursory glance and see what I can find, though.
Duke reaches forward and places his fingertips behind the book, and with a tug rips it off the back of the TV. We can hear the duct tape ripping, and he pulls the duct tape off, slapping it nearby on a wall. And as soon as you open the book, the first thing you notice is very old, dried bloodstains on the early parts of the pages. They didn't soak the pages through completely, but it made it very difficult to read the full text on those first, we'll say 5 or so pages. But as you flip through very quickly, you realize what's in here is formula. Lots of seemingly equations and little etched notes in someone else's handwriting, and then a few pages that is clearly Sean's writing, addendums or scratching out something else and writing his own little notes here. Again, you've seen a few of these before. You kind of understand what you're looking at. It is clearly Thin Blood alchemy, perhaps even the journal that he kept to practice his alchemy. But again, the mix-matching handwriting indicates that at some point this probably wasn't Sean's and fell into his property in a later date.
Okay. Well, I believe that this is of some personal importance. I think this is the Thin Blood alchemy that I've attempted to find a bit more about. The Chantry's been very quiet about sharing this information, and this might be more valuable to them. I have a feeling I'll be stopping tomorrow before I make it to the Chantry to a Xerox machine.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. And, yeah, I mean, this is probably pretty tied to Sean, so...
Does it say a name elsewhere in the book at all? Like a contents belonging to?
No. Nope. No. Maybe it would have been on the first 5 pages, but the blood soaking through made pretty much anything unreadable there.
How old does it appear to be? Does this look like a...
The journal looks well worn. Duke would guess a decade or more old, maybe even 2 decades. It depends on how heavily it was being used, but it's certainly nowhere near new.
Okay. I think we found what we need here. This should work.
Do you take the nug as well anyway, just to have a backup, or do you leave that?
Do you leave that? You seem very interested in this the last time you partook. Perhaps this is something that you could do again with Vera. She needs to calm down anyway. She's rather tied up, consistently anxious.
I mean, let's face it, it's been a few years, but yeah, why not? Always nice to have a little grass stash somewhere.
Max, come with me to my room upstairs, my original room. I've not shared this with anyone, and if worse comes to worse and I meet an untimely demise, I would like for you to collect this to dispose of it.
What are we talking?
Personal effects.
Max is guided up to Duke's room. Not a far walk.
Kind of passing through the charred, burned door and that smoke and like carbon printed bricks He moves to behind, like up the burn desk, and kind of pushes it out of the way. And with a little bit of force, you see him kind of lift some of the bricks out of the floor, and reveal like a 2 foot by 2 foot square area in the floor space that contains a deep well briefcase. Inside of the deep well briefcase, you have you actually have profiles on each of you, indicating personal decisions, any weaknesses that you may have that might be even exploitable, things of that nature. He even, you see that there's something on top that shows, it looks like a name tag, like a diner name tag. It's got a sunshine and a little pot of coffee next to it, and it says Sherry D. Do with this as you will. This will be here. It's not going to move. Even if we leave this place, I will likely leave it here, but this is something that I learned to use to protect myself. It's my cape, Max. It's what allows me to do the things that I do.
I'd be a lot more upset about this if I hadn't read that comic where Batman keeps files on all the Justice League, so, yeah. Yeah. How's about Max rips out his section right away and just like starts ripping it up into tiny pieces?
Tearing, the paper tears, and he starts ripping it in confetti and right in front of Duke.
Yeah, I'm just going to take care of this one right now. You know, I'm going to pre-destroy this one.
It's fine. It's always in my mind.
Yeah, no, I figured. I'd prefer not to leave it lying around for people to find, though, you know?
He'll lift the few remaining files, and you can see there's things there on the police officers that I worked with, those that are corrupt, those who are not corrupt, those that are exploitable with a little bit of pressure, the means of which to kind of maneuver them through the city, and underneath there's the rest of the things that he collected, particularly Gustav's knife. And it's, it sticks out to you, right? So it's one of those pieces. And he collects this, and he said, this is something that mattered to Gustav, correct?
Well, like I said, he gave it to me all those years ago when it looked like we were going to have a run-in with Lycans. It was, part of his mind games. Here's a little reward for good behavior, even though he was forcing me to do everything I did.
Then I'm going to use this to track him if I can.
Yeah, I think he'd had it for a while. I mean, as far as I know, it was in the coffin that we found him in Berlin when he was in torpor.
Max, do you think that you're going to heal entirely by tomorrow evening?
Yeah, I got blood downstairs. So I've got 1 point of aggravated damage left. Yes.
Yep.
Do I think
it'll heal? It'll heal on its own overnight through a rouse check. So you're gonna do a rouse check to wake up, and then immediately a second rouse check to see to heal the aggravated damage, and then incur extra hunger. Your body just kind of does it automatically with aggravated. So
Yeah.
You, Josh, because you're the person I'm gonna look to the rules, but everybody else who remembers as well. Can you actively heal aggravated? Can you do it yourself, or is it okay? Cool. So you could force another heal right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, Max has access to his blood fridge, so he's probably going to want to be at full. He's not going to.
So go ahead and give me another rouse check for sure.
I only ask
I
because
as well.
Sturbridge is going to need proof. And if neither of you have healed, then I can present you as proof of the power.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
It'll heal overnight. It'll heal when he wakes up tomorrow. It's gonna heal by itself. Like that's just how aggravated works. Your body wakes up and reactively is gonna heal it, so he will be healed by tomorrow.
What if they're staked?
Then that's different. When you're torpored, you can't do shit. Though when he comes out of torpor, it'll heal. You'd have to bring him torpored, which is a whole lot of vulnerability for Max because he'll be aware of everything. He just will not be able to do.
But if Max has already
anything.
started healing, could we stake and torpor Savva?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you could either or.
Is any of that being expressed out loud to
I think,
Max?
yeah, he's like pontificating out loud.
It's like, yeah, I don't think he's going to like that. I'm going to be honest.
I feel like if he wants my trust, this is a great way to start.
Okay, well, that's a pretty hard pitch, but if anybody can do it.
Let's find him.
I do like some
You can
congealed
find him in the
blood.
basement.
He's not far. Yeah, he's not far. He's a room or two over. If you simply well, let's ask him now.
Yes.
Okay, Savva, as you're getting ready to relax, as you're finally winding down, as you sit down, there's your door.
I think they might catch him on his way out because he was probably going to go back to his own safe house. But yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But
so it's up to you if they catch you or not. I'll let you decide if they catch you or not. Okay. So he's 2 steps from pushing open the trap door to head upstairs.
Duke?
Hey, Savva. Duke's got a little favor to ask of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, better tell me now before I head out. I've got a bunch of stuff to do.
And Savva sees that Max has what looks like a handful of confetti that he's just ripping into increasingly smaller and smaller pieces. And once he's done that, he's sort of throwing some of them in his mouth and just chewing them up and then spitting them out, just so it can never be put back together again.
You feeling anxious?
I think we all are, Savva. I have a large favor.
You're about to get anxious yourself. Listen to what this guy's got to say.
A very large favor to ask of you. You likely will not like this, and you may find yourself fitting in here with Vera and even with Max. He's chummy like that. He finds his way of friendship with many. I'm a little less trusting. You could ask Sean if he ever found his way back. What I'm going to ask you is something that's going to make you very uncomfortable, but you have to trust me. I need you torpid. Savva, I need to take you to the chantry. I need to show your wounds to Sturbridge. I would have asked Max, but Max has already begun to heal, and he's forcing it with blood. And you have not. Sturbridge is going to need proof. Not that she doesn't already trust me, but, well, you understand, proof means more than just about anything. And you will, with zero regrets, begin healing through rest and the moment you wake up. The body has a way of doing that as a kindred you recognize. But if I torpor you, you will not until you're removed from torpor.
Mm-hmm. And, how do you expect to torpor me, Duke?
What is the easiest way to torpor you, Savva, without killing you? If I kill you, you dust, and then I have no proof. You're valuable to me alive, well, in your second life. I'm asking as a courtesy.
You don't... Well, I would rather not find out what the impolite way you find these things out is. So let me be plain with you. I very much value my freedom, Duke.
And I very much value your protection. And our continued freedom may hinge on the truth of the burns on your body. I wouldn't bring this to you if it wasn't valuable. I have no time for wasted breath.
Torpored and delivered to a Tremere is not how I intend to go out.
Under my protection.
Okay, how about I ask something equally impossible from you?
You have my attention.
Get my clan accepted into the Camarilla, and I'll consider it.
Into the Camarilla of the current state of New York, or where we intend to move.
I've heard good things out of Chicago.
There's no timeline. Or is there a timeline?
Before someone kills me.
Understood. And I will. With confidence, I will. We'll have to work for it, but you will have my utmost cooperation. That is, of course, unless you wish to be on the outskirts of the Camarilla consistently in Chicago for potentially forever.
There are a lot of reasons why I would be that anyway. I see that you're serious. so I'm not going to laugh. What makes you think that the Tremere would let me leave their place unaccosted?
I have a 100% success rate on everything it is that I pursue. I would show you the proof, but I would just take you to a graveyard. If you're already torpid, and your skin, alive, is as valuable as I believe it might be, then there's no value in killing you. And if they wish to try to play dirty, I can play too. They won't like it. Savva, I will not be going alone. I believe that you matter to Vera, and Max has taken a kinship, a liking to you, even in the temporary. You've bonded. You both saw the sun for a short time. Max, you'll protect him, won't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're gonna need protection, let's face it.
I don't leave any of your sight. And if I do, you kick up a fuss.
You won't. You won't leave our hands. I'll move you in a box. It will only be opened in front of Sturbridge, or her immediate consort, and not before. And you will be not left anywhere outside of our sight. In the moment we are free of the building, I'll remove whatever it is that torpors you. Your choice, your body, your comforts.
Savva puts out his hand for a shake. You've got a lot of work cut out for you.
Such is life.
Does Duke shake his hand?
Yes, he does.
And the camera will zoom in on the clasping hands before they cut. The last scene we're introduced to is a half a block away from the nearby park, bathed in a warm orange light with a gentle breeze kicked up this evening. Vera strides into view, crosses the road. Before she makes it to the entrance of the park, Vera, wits awareness?
2 successes.
With 2 successes, you can hear footsteps coming up behind you. They don't sound hurried, and it doesn't sound like they're running toward you, but it does sound like a figure wound the corner once you cross the street, and you can hear someone approaching, it seems. There are a few stragglers still, civilians on the road. It is New York after all. It's not that you are alone and completely vulnerable. There are eyes of the mortals everywhere still.
Right. Okay. Well, Vera's been stalked before.
Does she look back or she just move forward?
No, I imagine at first it's just like, oh, somebody's following me. I'm waiting on the cat call, like the usual. Yeah. I'm going places. I can't be worried with such mundane stalking.
A cat call never arrives. Instead, as the steps grow closer and then are clearly behind you, but off to your side, not like directly behind you, a familiar voice breaks through to your ears. First, simply saying, "Take any action and do anything, and dozens will die." The voice of Larson.
Ugh. I thought you were gone.
I am. He shrugs.
Does it seem that way?
Not in the now. Not in the present. I here to find you specifically.
Wonderful. Well, and while I'm having this conversation, I'm going to turn on Auspex. I'm going to use heightened senses. I need to know how many I'm actually potentially being watched
You
by.
may wits awareness me. So with 2 successes, the only thing you can tell as your senses come about and you keen in your hearing and your night vision sort of bleeds into the streets of New York, you can hear one set of other footsteps that seems to be keeping pace with the 2 of you. You're not sure if there's anyone else around across the streets or watching elsewhere, but there does seem to be one relatively keeping pace with you.
Larson. didn't even come alone.
He doesn't answer that question. He's like, I'm not here to have conversation, Vera. I'm here to deliver a message.
Oh, you've really stepped up in the world.
Continuing and doing his best to move on from these slight jabs, he simply says, a while ago, many years ago, I'm told, you offered a very particular gentleman a night of coffee after a rather intense encounter. He'd like to take you up on that.
I turn around?
You stop and just turn to him?
I turn and I step into Larson really close.
Sure. He maintains his gaze.
What kind of lady would I be if I didn't hold true to my word?
He nods, and he looks over to his left, and he seems to he kind of raises his right hand and makes like a come here gesture. And as that happens, a tinted car with tinted windows, a black car with tinted window rather, slowly rolls up, and he just gestures. Passenger seat, it'll take you to the coffee shop.
Before I go, since you've fucked everything up, the least you can do is answer me one question. Is it true? Is Sean really dead?
Wits insight. Four successes. With 4 successes, you catch just a brief look across his face of... The word that comes to mind is pain. But it doesn't last longer than half a second. He almost winces at you mentioning Sean's death, and then he simply nods. Yes, it's true. Sean made a decision. He reaped the consequences of such.
Do you wrestle with your conscience anymore, Larson? Or are you really just a shell of a man?
I'm not here to have conversation, Vera. I hope you enjoy your evening of coffee. I have business to attend to.
Yes, I imagine you have more messages to deliver.
Shakes his head. You'd be surprised how quickly the Camarilla will forget a thin blood, no matter whether he's part of the council or not. He's just happy to have me gone. And he smiles. Messages are delivered. I have other places to be.
Well, don't let dear Vera stop you.
At that, he just doesn't say anything, and he turns and he begins to walk away. Do we watch Vera walk into the car?
Yes.
She takes a seat in the back seat. She shuts it herself. There's nobody there to do it for her. As the door shuts and the car slowly rolls off onto the road, our vision lingers until it is out of sight. The screen goes black, and we will return next week with another episode of Stitch of Fate. Goodbye, everybody.
Hi there, mortals. Thanks for tuning in. It's your dear Vera Volkov, and I'm here to tell you that the club is undergoing a few renovations after a little accident, and we could use all the resources to get us back on our feet. You can help us by either joining our Patreon or getting your hands on an official Stitch of Fate or Drakpack t-shirt by visiting TeePublic and searching Pod by Night. Well, go on. What are you waiting for?